You ever have one of those days where you're just busy all day long, but at the end of it, you feel like you haven't really gotten anything done? Well, today, we're going to dive into something called lean. It's this amazing philosophy that's designed to help you see and then totally eliminate the waste that clogs up, well, pretty much everything, from a huge factory floor to your own personal to-do list. So let me kick this off with a question that's, well, it's a little bit shocking. What if I told you that almost everything you do, like 95% of it, is actually wasted time? That it adds absolutely zero value for the person you're doing it for? I know, it sounds crazy, but this is the core problem that lean forces us to look right in the eye. And yeah, there's a number to back that up. Studies have shown that in a ton of different processes, only about 5% of the total time is spent on stuff that actually adds value. So it's the other 95%. It's like this hidden factory of waste, just adding costs and delays. And lean is what teaches us how to see it, and more importantly, how to get rid of it. Okay, so how do we fight back against all this waste? Well, that brings us right to the lean philosophy. And I want you to know, this is way more than just a bunch of tools or business jargon. It's a complete mindset. It actually came out of Toyota's fight for survival back in the 1950s. They had to figure out a way to compete with these huge mass production companies by being smarter, faster, and just way more efficient. You know, at its heart, this is really what lean is all about. It's a philosophy that is laser-focused on delivering value from the customer's point of view. And just look at how precise this is. Perfect quality, exact quantities, exactly when needed. If what you're doing doesn't help with one of those things, then in the world of lean, it's waste. It's really that simple. Now, this is where things get really, really interesting. This is a fundamental shift in thinking. So traditionally, most companies work on what's called a push system. They just make a bunch of stuff based on a forecast and push it into a warehouse. Lean just flips that completely on its head with a pull system. With pull, nothing gets made until the next person in line or even the final customer actually asks for it. And this is why that pull system is so incredibly powerful. See, when you get rid of all that extra inventory just sitting around, you expose every single problem in your system. If one machine breaks, the whole line stops. And all of a sudden, it's not just one person's problem anymore, it's everybody's problem. And the motivation to fix it right then and there is huge. This is probably my favorite way to think about this. Picture a river. All that inventory you have is like the water level. When the water's high, you can't see all the dangerous rocks on the bottom. You know, the problems, like a machine that keeps breaking or a process with defects. Lean basically says, lower the water. Expose those rocks so you have no choice but to deal with them one by one. And that's how you make the river flow faster and smoother. So, how in the world do you actually manage a pull system? Well, one of the most famous tools is called Kanban. The word literally just means card or signal in Japanese. A super simple example? Putting your empty milk bottles on the doorstep. That's a Kanban. It's a visual signal to the milkman that you need more. It's just a simple visual trigger that says, hey, do the next thing. All right, so we get the philosophy. How do we actually put it into practice? Well, we start by hunting for waste. The Japanese term for this is muda. And lucky for us, lean gives us a very specific field guide for what we should be looking for. Now, before we get into the different types of waste, it's really helpful to know the three things that cause it. You've got muda, which is the waste itself, but that's usually caused by mura, which is unevenness or inconsistency, and muri, which is when you're just overburdening your people or your equipment. The thing is, they're all connected. If you fix one, it usually helps fix the others. Okay, here they are, the 7 classic types of waste that lean practitioners are trained to spot everywhere. We've got overproduction, waiting, transport, overprocessing, inventory, motion, and finally, defects or rework. Let's zoom in on a few of the biggest ones. Toyota actually thinks overproduction is the worst waste of them all. And you might be wondering, why? Well, it's because making something just in case or before you really need it, that one action creates almost all of the other wastes, especially inventory, which, as we know, is great at hiding all those other problems we talked about. Next up, waiting. Oh man, this one is everywhere, right? Think about patients in a hospital waiting room, or files just sitting in your email inbox, or parts waiting for a machine to become free. Anytime anything is just sitting there, idle, no value is being added, but you better believe costs are still piling up. And then you've got motion. Now, this isn't about moving goods around. This is about the unnecessary movement of people. There's a fantastic example from aircraft maintenance, where they just watched how the technicians moved around. And by simply changing the order of the tasks and getting tools ready beforehand, they cut way down on wasted steps, saved time, and made the job less tiring. It's a win-win. Okay, so we've talked a lot about tools and processes and all that stuff, but honestly, all of it is useless without Lean's secret weapon, and that is people. The second pillar of the whole Toyota production system, right next to continuous improvement, is respect for people. This is the cultural foundation that makes everything else actually work. And this quote just perfectly sums up the entire philosophy. Lean is built on this really simple, but honestly profound idea that the person who is actually doing the job is the world's #1 expert on that job. It's them. They are the ones who can see the waste and figure out the best way to make things better. But let's be real, respect can feel a little vague. What does it actually look like day to day? Well, check out these behaviors from Virginia Mason Medical Center, who are real pioneers in using Lean in healthcare. They're simple things, right? Listen to understand. Speak up. Walk in their shoes. This is how you build a culture where everyone feels empowered to improve things. And one of the key ways to put that respect into action is something called the Gemba walk. Gemba is just the Japanese word for the actual place. So instead of trying to manage from an office or a spreadsheet, leaders go to the shop floor or the clinic or the call center. They go to observe, to listen, and to really understand the work from the perspective of the people who are actually doing it. And all of this brings us to a really critical idea. Lean is not a project that you do and then you're finished. No way. It's a commitment to continuous improvement. It's a philosophy you can apply everywhere, to everything, every single day. As they say at Toyota, better never stops. And you can totally apply this to your own life. Try making a personal Kanban board. It's super simple. Just visualize your work in 3 columns: to do, doing, and done. Now, here's the magic trick. You have to limit your work in progress. By focusing on finishing tasks before you start new ones, you break that bad habit of just starting, and instead you get really good at finishing. Okay, this next quote from Toyota's Taiichi Ono, it might mess with your head a little bit. No problem is a problem. What in the world does that mean? It means that a process that looks perfect with no visible problems is actually the biggest problem of all, because it means all the issues are hidden. In Lean, problems aren't failures, they are golden opportunities to get better. And that's exactly why Lean can never be a destination. You never arrive at being lean. The goal isn't perfection itself, but the endless daily pursuit of it. It's just a journey of making things a little bit better every single day. So if you boil it all down, what is Lean? It's really 2 things. First, it's like a special pair of glasses that helps you see this invisible world of waste that's slowing everything down. And second, it's a powerful toolkit for empowering the people who do the work to get rid of that waste and create more value for everyone. And that really just leaves us with one last question for you to think about. Now that you have this lens, now that you know how to see, take a look around your own work, your daily routines, your team's processes. So my question to you is, where is the hidden waste in your world?